Good afternoon, everybody. I am here with Dr. Michael Jones. He is one of our longtime members and a good friend of ours as well. He works on a lot of our clients all the time and keeps everybody healthy. So Mike, why don't you give a little intro about yourself, your background?
Okay, yeah, so I did my undergrad in biology, went to Palmer College Chiropractic, got my chiropractic degree, graduated in 2010, started practicing here in Springfield in 2011, as the same time I started here with you guys. In terms of CrossFit, I've been doing it for about 7.5 years. Started in chiropractic school, continued on, came here, got a coach, improved greatly from there, and then, like you said, been practicing here in town for about 5.5 years now.
Awesome, very good, very good. So Mike's a chiropractor. If I didn't mention that, I think he might have. But he's done really well working with athletes. I know he has quite a broad spectrum of clients. I know he's got some older clients, even some babies that he works on too. So really this video and the messages he's sending out applies to anyone, whether you're an athlete, an older person, younger person. If you're completely sedentary, it doesn't matter. This is really for everybody. So one question that I had for Mike is, what's the most common problem you see walk in the door to come see you?
From CrossFit specifically, or just in
anything
general?
in general, maybe athletes or non-athletes?
So I would say just in total, it'd be probably lower back issues. Most of America, most individuals sit all day. All that pressure gets put in your lower back into your spine, and that over time, whether it's an acute injury they get or just from working at a desk for 10, 15 years, accumulates into problems, and then that's where we start getting people coming in.
Okay. Is that true for athletes too?
I would say so. Most sports are either very one-sided, so think like volleyball players, baseball players, so they overdevelop one side, tends to cause some more issues on that kind of overused, overworked side. But then just in general too, kind of like I said, it's kind of just an accumulation of things over time.
Sure. Okay. What type of treatment? So say somebody comes in and does have low back pain or shoulder pain, neck pain. What do you do? What are the steps to take care of someone?
Okay. So first, like you come in as a new patient, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about the problem. How long it's been going on for? Does it travel? Does it radiate? What do you do for a living? So I get an understanding of what you're doing on a daily basis.
Sure.
When it's a CrossFit injury, somebody that say like you said injures a shoulder, I'm going to have them either tell me or show me what they've done. Then I can kind of try to break down their movement pattern, see where the fault comes in, why that led to an issue. After that, we do a full exam, chiropractic exam, looking at motion within the spine. If something's not moving properly or not properly aligned, it's what we call a subluxation. Just simply means a minor misalignment to those vertebrae causes some type of neurological stress. Eventually, over time, that leads to issues that brings them in. The first and foremost way that we treat these things is an adjustment. So the chiropractic adjustment, if you're not familiar, is basically using my hands to realign whatever's misaligned. We also have a whole range of other therapies in the office that we can do. Electrical stimulation, we can do spinal decompression. We have a recovery center as well that has like tips and tricks stuff for athletes alike. Primarily though, it's always the adjustment, the other stuff kind of as needed.
Okay, wonderful. So nothing to be scared of.
Nope.
It's
nope.
all.
Like she said, I work on anything from newborn little babies to I've got a couple 90-plus-year-old grandmas and grandpas. I have 3 little girls, and they all get adjusted about every other week. Very, very healthy kids. Amongst the 7-8 years of having kids, my kids don't get major illnesses, never had an ear infection. All that stuff kind of plays into it as well.
Yeah, that's a big deal for sure.
Absolutely.
So when you are having pain, or maybe some of you guys who are just starting to work out, or are current athletes who might be watching this, when do you recommend coming in? When is it? Is there a point where it's too late, or is it too early? When do you come in to see you?
It's never really too late. Like if it's something that like really concerns somebody, they're non-functional, they can't get up out of the chair, or they've got shooting pains down their arms or down their legs. That's the time you need to get in as quick as humanly possible. The longer you wait on those, the longer the recovery time is, the more debilitating it can be. If it's a current patient of mine, somebody that comes in on some type of a maintenance schedule, maybe once a month or something like that, what I always tell those people is give it a couple of days. So like you do a workout, you get a little tweak in your shoulder and your neck, give it a day or two.
Okay.
If after those couple of days the problem still persists, it's more than just a muscular thing that's going to work its way on its own. It's something you need to get in, we need to check out.
Okay.
If after those 2 days it's gone away, it was just a little irritation of the muscle, body took care of it on its own.
Okay.
That's kind of a loose rule of thumb.
Sure.
Give it a couple days, but if it's like I said, debilitating, radiating pains, you can't turn your head, that's stuff you want to get a little bit sooner.
Okay, wonderful.
Yep.
What about, so our topic, if you guys got the email this morning, was we did talk about posture. and how to stand, how to sit. I put one of Kelly Starrett's videos up there, which I know Mike's a big fan of him too. So what are some things that some tips or tricks you could give to these guys out there, probably on their phone or computer watching this right now? Maybe not with some good posture,
Probably
right?
not, yeah. So the biggest thing is to make it conscious, so to where you're actually constantly thinking about it. So if you're sitting at a desk, you've got a computer in front of you, bottom corner of the screen is your little clock. What I tell my patients on a daily basis is every hour, check your posture. Whether it's 9 o'clock, 9:15, next hour comes around 10:15, sit up tall, pull your shoulders back, get your head in a good neutral position versus, so from the side, this kind of position that everybody kind of ends up in.
Yeah.
If you're doing this, you work an 8-10 hour day, you're basically getting 8 to 10 posture breaks during the course of the day.
Sure.
As you do that, you build up those endurance muscles, which is our core, which is our upper back kind of stabilizer muscles. Makes it easier to be in a good, tall, upright position versus your body kind of naturally wanting to roll its way forward.
Sure,
Yep.
sure.
That's first and foremost. If you're looking at exercise stuff, anything to where you're doing any kind of a pulling motion. So if we're thinking like in a CrossFit gym, ring rows, bent over rows, even like pull-ups can be really good at this, banded pull-aparts can be really good at this.
Okay.
Anything that's gonna help to bring those shoulder blades back towards the spine versus them rolling forward. It strengthens those muscles, makes it easier to stand or sit tall versus your body naturally wanting to roll its way in.
Very good. And I think Mike's got, you have a band around.
Yep.
So this can be done, we've got these nice little pull-up bands here. You can use those. You could even, at most of the sports stores, they have some type of elastic bands for yoga or resistance bands with handles on them. That would work too. So he's just going to show us a quick little exercise that you can do at home to help with strengthening up for good posture.
Yep. So it's just simply called a band pull apart, and you can make it as easy or difficult as you want it to be based on your hand position. So if my hands are pretty wide, it's going to be a little bit easier. My hands go a little bit more narrow, going to be a little bit more difficult. And all we're going to do, nice slow controlled motion, pull it back to where the band touches my chest, back out to the front, pull it back again. And like I said, what we're trying to do is focus on the muscles between the shoulder blades. And so doing a set of 10, 15, 20 reps of these, you're going to get a really good burn through the upper part of your back. And like I said, you're going to make that posturally be a lot easier to stand up tall versus that natural inclination to roll our way forward.
Very good. And I'm sure Mike could say the same for this, but typically you see people, the worst posture they have down the road, there's definitely shoulder, neck, upper back issues that come into play that don't feel quite so good. Do you have anything for people who have a lot of low back pain and exercise to help strengthen things up? And
Yeah, so with that, we're looking once again kind of at the core. So planks, side planks, Supermans, glute bridges, all of those things are going to help us strengthen up kind of the strap core muscles.
Okay.
Not abdominal stuff. So most lower back injuries are flexion and extension based. So flexion is forward, extension being backwards. If you think about doing a deadlift or picking your kid up off the floor, that's a flexion and extension movement. So we want to basically avoid those if something is irritated or injured.
Sure.
Staying in a good static position, nice and good in a plank or a side plank, keeping your body motionless basically. That's kind of the ideal way to do it. Goal being getting up to like a minute's time for those that are not as maybe conditioned. Working your way up to where you can do a good, solid, strong plank for a minute's worth of time. If you can do 15 seconds at a time, great, do it perfect. Rest a minute or so, do it again to where you're eventually working your way up. But that's also going to help to keep that core good and strong. Once again, keep you good and vertical and upright.
Okay. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this. We've had clients come in before who were simply picking up a piece of paper off the ground and threw their back out.
Yep.
What is that from?
That's chronic repetitive stress. So most lower back injuries that come to see me, like I said before, chronic repetitive stresses. I've had, in 5.5 years of practice, maybe 1 or 2 from a heavy deadlift. Most of it is bending down to pick up a pen or a pencil. Our backs are resilient, so we can do these things time and time again, hundreds of thousands of times. But once that 100,001 time happens to where you're doing it improperly again and again, back gives out, here's our issue. So it's less of an acute injury in those instances, and it's basically just from years of doing things improperly.
Sure.
Bending over improperly, bending at the waist, curving the back versus bending our knees or dropping to a knee to pick something up. That's where those typically stem from.
Very good. Do you see any link between nutrition and chiropractic care? Do you advise people? I mean, does that come into play? I know a lot of what we talked about is exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle.
Absolutely. So anti-inflammatory diets, most American individuals have a very pro-inflammatory diet, which I think you've talked about a couple of times before. But the worse off you eat, your body doesn't really absorb all those nutrients. So, a cheeseburger from McDonald's versus you making a good, grass-fed beef burger at home, very significant, difference in their nutrient quality. And so if you're constantly eating these pro-inflammatory diets and you have, I'm sure if you haven't already, you'll be talking about fish oil. Fish oil being a very anti-inflammatory properties. Another good thing that I definitely recommend, I recommend for most people on a trial basis, something along the lines of paleo, just to get rid of those pro-inflammatory foods, being grains and dairy. You can fudge with it a little bit here and there, but as a good starting point, cutting those things out for at least 30 days takes about that amount of time to get them out of your system. That's a really good way to start if somebody's having either digestive issues or lots of chronic joint pains or aches or their knees or their hips or whatever. Get those things out for 30 days, see if you feel the difference. Almost guarantee you will.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thanks, Mike, for coming and talking. I hope you guys learned a few things, and maybe we'll come and see Mike if you have some issues. He's done a really good job with all of us and all of our athletes, and continues to educate us and give us tips as he comes in. And it's awesome to also see someone who takes care of us come in and practice what he preaches. I've seen his food diary. He eats well and he trains hard. We see him all the time in here at the gym. So he definitely practices what he preaches, which makes me really respect someone with what they're doing. So you can believe everything he says and hopefully learn from it and take a little bit of that with you and maybe even spread that to other people. So thanks, Mike, for coming.
Absolutely.
And you guys can find him. He's at, why don't you give a little plug for where you're at?
Springfield Wellness Center, 1000 South Durkin Drive. We've got a website, the same, Facebook page, or you can reach us at the office at 726-0422.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks, Mike. Good seeing you guys. Have a great afternoon.